the intention, leading the leading edge, creating with other energies that aren't voting, that aren't directing, can the energy can be absorbed in our intentions, leading others' intentions. So it's where are we placing our intention? And this is happening microscopically. So thin veiled, so small that we could not be aware of it, or in being aware of it, we can choose to be a victim, giving our power away, or we can lead in our predominant power. And we can lead for ourselves, and we can lead others to what they're drawn to what their intentions get awoken to. If they're awakened to the drive of our intention, then we're leading. They're at least voting, they're at least participating. And what about us? What are we participating in as we lead? The quick and fast of it is right now in the presence, I'm aware of my ability of my intentions. Will I lead with them today? Will I hook them on the wagon of something else going in the direction of my energy to explore what I don't know? Or will I sit on the sidelines, no vote, no real thought that I count? Either way, you count. You count when you're not even counting. It's like the water droplets in the wave. What leads the wave to embark the shore? Some droplets get caught up in the wave and get carried, and others surge forward, joining with the winds and the undercurrents are also leading. It's a lot going on simultaneously that we could avoid acknowledging, but to be aware of it is how we choose to participate.
Thank you, Cinderella. Welcome, Allison. Fantastic. Catch you up. What I found interesting, you came in saying good morning in the chat, and you say the mystery of what is it?
Good morning, Allison. Good morning, Allison.
Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. It's really good to be with you.
Good to have you.
I love the contrast for me. I don't know if it's a contrast, but it's drawing attention to what Sandra was saying was, what is it? What is it that makes the wave do what it does? And then she comes in with the clarity of what counts is our awareness of choice in how we participate. And from the little bit that I heard before, it felt to me like that's all we really have to focus on once we're aware of what else there is. How do we want to move with this?
Yes.
And what are we being when we make that choice? What are we having inside of ourselves that's leading when we make that choice? Are we fully aligned? Are we coming from our mind, our thinking mind? Are we coming from a defense? Are we coming from our heart? Are we coming from neutral? Are we coming from a charge? With all of that, and then if we do things in unaware, which inevitably happens with our automatics, does that mean it has to stay like that? No. Can change it. Can catch yourself, as I saw Jesse caught himself in the chat at one point. Found his mind wandering.
As you're speaking, Allison, I'm painting and I'm looking at this creation and it is what it is, but it doesn't have to stay like this.
I'm laughing because that's a synopsis of what life is, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And who's putting the stroke down?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And what beingness of expression am I allowing to trust coming forth?
Mm-hmm. I feel like there's a nice little vignette or verse or something in there to describe change. How do we change?
And we'll set it to a cause, or are we the effect?
Very nice question.
It would be similar to the canvas. Am I painting, or is someone out there painting?
Was someone in
And
here painting?
Mind blown.
and also, okay, now I have to speak to correction. I'm so sorry. I was just thinking when you said, am I painting, Jess? I presumed that the eye would be out of alignment with the imagination and our field of plenty. But that's what the eye includes, right? It's full alignment. But maybe not so, maybe that awareness is not there for everybody.
So what's funny to me is, again, as I'm experiencing painting, it's like, this is weird, but this is it.
Hmm. Hmm. And so we paint ourselves from every minute to the next.
Mhm.
We sculpt ourselves.
Mhm.
We harmonize ourselves.
Mhm.
It's such a beautiful metaphor, Sandra.
I'm in the space of like quick gestures, like, helping. How do we help our clients quickly? Is for their immersion in the thought process, in the field of feeling process, in the space of honor knowing process, all at one time. When the words come from them, that they seek that conversation with their own hearts.
Mm. Mm.
To put it out there and know it for what it is without really defining it just experiencing their own heart. Hmm. I keep seeing um, from the Wizard of Oz, when we're seeking, following the yellow brick road, and still we're looking for something, and we finally get the nerve, the courage, the heart, the flexibility to step outside of the structure, step beyond the protocol. and find out that we know just as much from seeking what's behind the curtain as what is behind the curtain. Because what is behind the curtain can't do what it does without what's in front of the curtain. It's just trying to hold things together until you come and take your part. But we search all over and it's right here. Can we trust right here?
Mm.
Quick. But I think the experience of the journey also gives value to knowing what you have.
Mm.
So a friend of mine is having a baby shower and again yearning to give something that's not superficially commercialized. And so she sent me her, you know, and sharing with us the celebration of being pregnant. She sent me the picture of the baby. What do they call that? They call that a thing. And so that is
Ultrasound.
what is it?
An ultrasound
Yeah, the
picture.
ultrasound. Thank you. The ultrasound picture. And that's my inspiration. My apologies, I got lost for a moment.
Okay, so I wrote something in the chat about what came to me during the silence. And it felt like it was a harmonizing of creations. And I just had this image of everybody creating their own painting, whether in their imagination or whether they were doing something else in the silence. Whatever was happening, it just felt busy and yet connected and calm. So I'm wondering if anybody can think of what they might have been creating today, what they might be creating right now. And if there are any words around that I would like to share.
So I was creating my word of the day. Being triggered. Aware, being triggered. And then what to do with it. It's like if I'm aware, I'm triggered, then what? Well, create new automatics by observing it for just what is it? And how would I know that? It would be I name it. There's my judger, there's my prover, there's my fight to be right. I've got to know everything, I know it all. Giving my power away out there is getting me. And like control. So that's like, those are control and to be seen. Those are some of my categories, some of my buckets, the words of my automatics. Also, my levels of awareness as a clarity, right, to separate them. By knowing my automatics, my tendencies, and the ones that I don't like, which is anger, frustration, those tendencies. So that's first, it's like triggered, I name it, then I look at what could it be? Like, how could I look at the situation rather than the judger? How could it be? Then I always look at what's the opposite then. So the could be for is the opposite. If it's a negative. Now, if it's a positive, I just reinforce it. I celebrate it and reinforce it. That's my space. Thank you.
That's a great exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. And for me, my day started, about 9 hours ago. And from the moment I woke up, it was intentionally creating space for observation, to observe my thoughts and feelings, just to be the observer. So yeah, just to be in that awareness of while doing daily stuff, walk the dog, cooking, cleaning. So yeah.
And how you're being in that.
Yes.
And I love that you have that awareness of creating space to be in that, to do that in a way that works for you.
Yes. Thank you, Alison.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Chi. It's the everydayness activities to be present in. Yesterday, I was in a ball of anxiety, and yet I was outside of myself experiencing the feeling of living anxiety. And instead of other responses to that feeling of that beingness, I got somewhere and got quiet for most of the day and observed how it felt inside of me. It's like multiple personalities trying to express all at one time, like the champion, the victor, the victim, the passive aggressive. And it's just like they all came to a party that I didn't get an invitation to. And it was at my house. Instead of, I sat in the middle of the confusion to be aware, to identify, and to observe the various and the emotional responsive behaviors. I did not like it. Did not like it. But I remember seeking medical help for it. And I did not like it. The medical help was horrible for me. It ran havoc on me. And so I refused any of that. And I just observed. And it was like the child having a tantrum. Somewhere along the way, the DJ left. Somewhere along the way, the bartender left. Somewhere along the way, they got bored and left. And I just observed. So I'm still learning. I'm like, what is this here to teach me? It had not come up in a long, long time. And I could give reason and understanding to why it's come up. But to be continued. But in response to what was happening in the silence, I write, the beauty of the silence as the finger receives the ring. To harmonize with heart, no instrument need to sing. No strumming the melody of being. The silence breathes the purpose, the passion fills the ring. What words will not tell, but communicate, the silence does bring so well. The existence of the heart, not contained, but symbolically, the silence, the unspoken gesture of the receiving of the ring.
That is really beautiful.
Wow.
Mm.
Let me just give you a kiss. Mm.
Thank you, hugs. Mm.
So, Sindral, I honor your wondering about what this experience is bringing you. But I would like you also just to realize what it already brought you, even before you wrote this or put it in the chat. And that is the awareness that you had to be able to sit through all of that and watch. That's an enormous gift.
And I receive it. Thank you.
You're so welcome. In your words this morning, when I came in, what you were speaking to was so, they pointed to such clarity. There you go, that's my word. Such clarity of the steps that people can take and can see in their own process of creating whatever it is that they're creating. I almost felt like it was a summary of what the group has been noodling with for 2 years.
Yeah, noodling for 2 years to be prepared to create.
Mm. Mm. And then noodling more years to be prepared to create the next.
Different phase of it, right? But
Yeah.
this phase has changed. Fireside was a shift.
Mm. Mm.
It's like year 2, like year 3 is a shift. It's more like that, and how will we reference it will be by the name change. Structure still there, just what do we name it?
The structure certainly is there. For me, it's a different layer that we're
Higher or lower?
Yeah, deeper,
Mhm.
which is both low and high and wide.
Right. Directional. I call that word directional. Think of a wave, right? A wave is directional. Up, down, left, right, deep. Those are our charges. Our charges are directional. That's what they're telling us. They're telling us the direction. Like emotions, right? Pay attention to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were talking about the difference between the structure that is 1, what is it? 2, what could it be? It's like that's the structure that creators create with. They cause the effect. Creators cause the effect. And I said, that is what the structure is of what we're doing. That's the shortcut. That's the click in fast. That's a click in fast method. And so if that's what we want, then I would have to say, well, where is society today? And I was like, well, the only thing I can speak to is how I was before I saw this. And what it was that I would just go with it. I wouldn't call it, right? It would just automatically slide into my whatever was appropriate for that moment. So I wouldn't stop it. It would just go. So it'd be, there's my judger. My judger is just comparing my best to their worst moment, which is right now. And what that ends up doing is our orientation will create what's possible into the future. Well, what we keep doing is creating an unresolvable structure that isn't allowing us to live a life we enjoy. So we hide, we run away from the emotions first of all, rather than saying, oh, what is it? That's all it takes. Is to look at the emotion for what it is as information. What information is in this emotion? And if you haven't tried it, you don't know what I'm talking about. You may in your mind think you know, but don't fool yourself. That's an automatic, that's the ego getting you out of it because you want to be right. So I know some tendencies that the ego will play. Remember, structure, right, has 1 point, 2 points. It's like when you can pin the ego down on a point, it does not like that. That's the importance of calling it, oh, it is this. So if it's just this, then you can see the charge. And that's what we're afraid of, is seeing that charge, seeing the information in that charge. That's what we're afraid of. No, we're afraid of we made it something else. And that's your click and fast.
Lizzie, I'm so sorry, but could you circle back? Oh, God, no, it's gone. I missed, there was something in the last 2 sentences that I couldn't keep track on. When you said, is that what the ego is afraid of?
Yeah. Like afraid of seeing the emotion for the information it is. And society, North American society, avoids the feeling.
Yeah.
Is trying to live life without them.
Yeah.
A life without feeling. That's what they think they want. If you didn't have that, what would you have? A robot.
Yeah.
That was fascinating. But it made me wonder, whether our mind is thinking in terms of, horizontal or vertical,
Mm.
and our heart is thinking more in cyclical.
That's one too.
I don't know whether yeah, but that's where it's taking me,
So you said, what did you say? Vertical?
and horizontal,
Mm-hmm.
more in lineage, in line, it's
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, so like the experience of anxiety, right? It went 3-dimensional, and it really, it is kind of, it is a feeling of scariness. But it's a feeling. Is it because it feels different that it's scary? Is it because you don't know where it's going that it's scary? But really, as and because I'm, also fortunate enough, I was able to go into the silence. I could like close everything down pretty much for the large portion of the day and just sit with it and converse with it and understand it. And I could only understand it by feeling it. So thank you, Jesse, for pointing out that, it's like we're being AI when we don't allow ourselves to feel it. And it's estranged, so it's fear. But it doesn't make it not exist just because we cover our face because we're scared and don't want to experience the sight and the feeling of the fear. But we're created magnificently and have dominion over all things known and unknown. So yesterday I got a chance. I pretty much got a promotion yesterday because I took the curriculum. I sat in the class and I took the lesson and I felt it through. So I'm better for it, having had that experience. And maybe it came up because it was time for an expansion, you know?
Yeah. And sometimes it's very difficult in the middle of something happening to your body, but sometimes that contrast comes up so that you can see where you are, where you really are.
Yes. And accept it.
Yeah, and that's what's so important for me about the way in which you could be with it. That's huge. That's a very big shift, Syndrome.
Yeah. And it hasn't totally come up yet, but I want to cry. I just want to cry, but the cry goes back away. But I'll allow that ceremony to permeate when it's time. Maybe after I finish this painting.
Maybe as you finish the painting.
Yeah.
It's about new life, right?
So where are we, Jesse? Where are you?
Right here in the now with you. What feeling do you get, Conductor Syndrome?
What?
What feeling do you get, Conductor Syndrome?
I feel a binary beat charge of a resonating 6. Taking me from a micro experience to an expanded macro experience. And And I actually bought the ticket for this ride.
Mhm.
Mm.
What is all story behind scary emotion?
Sorry, Hans, I
know.
couldn't hear what you were saying. You're a bit far from your mic, I think.
What is often the story behind scary emotion? It's often an unknown sound, unknown something.
Mm.
So the
Mhm.
story you tell yourself about what that unknown could be,
Mm-hmm.
that's the ego creating scary, making it scary. Emotion itself is just something unknown we haven't worked through. So that's why it comes up when we are sort of more ready for it. It's like what we are doing here. We are peeling off layers, and as we peel off a layer, new emotions will come to the light.
Mhm.
Or not new emotions. Many of them are actually very, very old emotions that just been covered up and pushed down, and whatever we are doing to them.
For avoiding them as
Yeah,
well.
but it doesn't serve us to avoid them. It serves us to do what you did, sit in the silence with it and allow it. Like I told my son today, he actually had tears in his eyes sometime at school, and I told him, well, you've been shoving your emotions so far down that now they're breaking through. Tears is just a sign of the body can't contain the emotion anymore. It's the body expression. You can be too happy and you'll cry. You can be too sad, you'll cry. You can be too scared and you'll cry.
Mm.
I told him it's a great thing for him to actually cry because he hasn't been crying for a long time.
Way to go, Dad.
That was
Yeah, I made him
good.
cry, but I have a feeling it's the work I've been pushing on to him for a long time that sort of broke through. And he said it was a teacher telling him to go out and eat something, and he couldn't eat it. For some reason, he doesn't really like eating anymore. And that sort of just broke him. And I said, it's a great thing. It just shows the emotions are breaking through. Now you need to work with them, not avoid them again.
You just did great parenting to me. Thank you.
You're welcome, Sindrell. That's what we're doing here.
Oh, Daddy, you're such a genius.
Well, I've always been emotional, so that's one thing I actually learned to deal with is my emotions. I just hid them for a long time, even though you can only hide so much of it. So I was still 50% emotional, even though I was on medication and on weed. But that was my normal. Now it's sort of like just free flowing, and I'm enjoying it.
Mm.
Smile over the small things in life and be happy about everything.
Wanting what you do have and not wanting what you don't have.
Yeah, that's the great thing about being present. I don't really want anything. I just want to be happy. And I am that. It's like I tell you, my song in my heart, do 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 do, and that circus song. Do, 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 do. Like I tell my son, happiness is a choice because he chooses often negativity. And if you can choose that, why can't you choose positivity and happiness? Of course, it's a simple answer. Doesn't mean it's easy. It's an old program of running on negative. And we're gonna change it so the positive becomes automatic, because the negative will also be an automatic when you live that for a long, long time.
Mhm.
So proud of both of you, Heinz.
Thank you.
Mm.
But he's the one putting in the work.
My practice at the moment is, it's imagine the best version of myself and feel it, and then try to incorporate in the now.
Mm.
And I'm willing to take on the practice on the daily basis, to
It's a beautiful practice. It's a real shortcut.
That's really, really good. It's the loud question is what do you want? How can you have more of that now? Experience it today.
Yes.
So in that bit of silence, I had calm connection, creative collaboration.
Mhm. I'm enjoying it. Mhm.
Mm. It's been a beautiful experience for me this morning with you all. It's just this pulse of giving and receiving and calm connection and creative collaboration. Mm. So I'm also thinking about the difference between my experience of the energy yesterday morning and this morning. And what comes to me, Heinz, is that you were sitting in creative tension yesterday. There was a breakthrough that was about to happen. And it happened this morning. Well, for me this morning, no, for you in your morning, probably. I'm not sure when you found out about what was going on with your son.
No, just before the meeting.
Okay.
Happened yesterday. And you told me it was yesterday he called you.
Oh, he called me also yesterday. He calls me every day.
I want to talk about his feelings yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, he started talking a little about them.
So the breakthrough was,
But
yeah, a little bit.
his breakthrough were in school today.
Oh,
Wow.
That's
You wanted
amazing.
to hear from him and you heard from him.
Yeah.
Wow. Why do you think that happened for you to experience his breakthrough?
I don't know why it happened. It's probably I've been digging real hard and constantly on him. And then yesterday I told him, well, I actually told him I've been digging probably way too hard.
Mm.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll repeat Jesse's words.
I actually apologized to him because I can't expect him to be at my level. I tell
Look
him
at
I've worked
you.
over 700 hours in
Look
2
at
years.
you.
Oh, Heinz. I'll repeat Jesse's words. Great dad.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful.
That's amazing. Hmm.
And yesterday I told him maybe he should make it more simple. He has his eyes on
Mm.
10, 20 things at once. Maybe he should just shift his focus to, but I still hear he's still doing a little of the same, but you can't change the world in one day.
Mm.
I think that was he experienced grace through you.
Yes.
And like he said, he hasn't had a male role model in his life. Not that I'm a role model, but
Yes, you are.
You certainly
yeah,
are.
I know. But I often see my past as a way of not doing things.
But
And role models can be made.
They continue to be created.
My children teach me how to be a parent.
Then it means you must have been a really, really great one if they now can teach you it.
They're still teaching me because there's venues of things with them. I don't know. I just gotta wait until I have more knowingness in that area.
They're closer to their heart.
That's so true. Thank you for that, Jessie. That's a wonderful thing to remember. So that takes off that edge of that responsibility that I talk about that we feel, right?
So yesterday I was so much in the hot seat, I totally forgot to ask Kailash how her trip went.
You'll hear from her soon. She'll be back soon, Hans, don't worry. I think she's just recovering. She's quite sick. She's got a
Oh,
really bad cold at the moment, but she had a wonderful time.
Great.
that's great.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. And I gave her all your messages, and then she really appreciated them. Thank you.
Yeah. Kailash, 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 Kailash.
She's been my best teacher.
See, they do teach us.
Oh, yeah, totally. No doubt.
Because we have to do better to lead by example.
Exactly. I used to tell my youngest daughter not to talk negatively, you know. And then I started talking negatively myself. She said, don't talk negatively, father, dad. I got it right back.
You jumped in the trap.
If I'd love to hear what Will listened today, if he's available. I know you like to share, and we'd love to hear your shares.
Yeah.
They will.
Not a lot to say today. Just my word of the day is peaceful. So like feeling the peace, but also filling myself with it, the best of my ability, right? Like just being the calm that I wish to see.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's kind of my portion for today.
Thank you, Will.
Oh yeah. Thank you guys for everything that you shared. I've been just kind of listening, resting, relaxing, and yeah, just being here with you.
And with you, Will.
And with me. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, Will, you've been courting peace very well with us today, and I'm observing a different kind of energy in our whole conversation session today versus yesterday. Yesterday, it was like we were bringing fire and it was a hot seat of love, you know. It was
Yeah.
like,
And there's a lot of tension, like Allison said. I really like that, Allison, how he um made us aware of, like, yes, Heinz was in the tension, and that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, actually, to realize that.
Yeah.
yes.
Always, I think. And I think that's a skill. That's a skill that, bringing attention to what we're experiencing, that I got from Jesse, because he's always got that bird's eye view. He's always hovering above.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And I think that's the main thing that I experienced when I first started working with him, that made me think, I want to learn to do that. And
Cool.
so now
Yeah.
I'm at the point where I've learned I can't quite do that, but I can do some of it.
Yeah.
And that's good enough for me.
Oh yeah. Yes, you are good enough.
Yeah, and
You're
then the
more than
rest
good
is
enough.
me.
Mm,
And that's the beauty of it all. Sorry, Jess.
great. Well, I'd say it's completion. So a scatter. And so a scatter, like just aware of what you're taking with you that's lighter and brighter. And not in an expectation sort of way,
Just in a being way.
being way. Try being one word today.
Yeah.
That's your choice. Just try being one word.
Peaceful.
Here we go.
Good. It's like a constant work in progress.
Smile. Smile.
Smile.
Smile.
Mm.
It's like peaceful, joyful,
Mm.
grateful. Like it's like
Mm.
filling yourself up with these ways of being. Try
Mhm.
them on till we become full.
Yep.
Thank
Fill
you.
our cup with joy.
Another perspective of full is whole.
Whole, yes.
So then it's like, yes, we fill our cup so that we become whole.
Mm.
Whole, yeah. Complete.
Yes, and it's like so a completion that starts again.
Mm.
Yeah. Every day.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's like just one phase completes and then a new phase will be there. It's like always a dial, a wave, right? There's the amplitudes as Chi spoke about.
Mm.
So
Have an awesome day, guys.
it has.
Thank
Enjoyed
you
you
so
all.
much, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You all have a blessed day.
Love
Bye.
and hugs.
We'll see you
Thank
soon.
you. Have a wonderful day.
Love and
Okay.
hugs.
Love and hugs. Later.
Bye.
Bye.
See you, Jesse.
Bye, Centrell. Have a great day.
You too. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Recap today. Will being a listener. Proud of that. Heinz's miracle, his breakthrough, his reward, like coming so quickly, of breaking through, being a better parent, like that is it. That's not a demonstration of being a better parent. That is just one example, and we want more. Tell us that means you've made it, you're aware of it, you're seeing it for what is, and we can celebrate the progress. The power of listening in groups, it amplifies the velocities. The space to speak in your own words is truly the breakthrough. So a high level speaking, if you think about groups or workshops or webinars, there's one person that's talking. Well, talking is where the breakthrough happens, right, Heinz? Like if we sit back in our own space without bringing forth our words, we're not able to have breakthroughs. So you are paying to go be talked to, not to get 10% out of it of what's capable, and yet they want to keep talking, so you pay them. I don't know. Like, that just blows my mind. I got it. Like, it's not part of the culture, but it's just a different perspective. We spoke a little bit about what this is. Like, there's the future situations may bring forth the importance of authenticity. And so to practice authenticity and have a recording of authenticity, authenticity training, may be important as we move to a uncertain future. So what was important today was the structure. And it was like around triggers, a structure of name it what it is, just what it is, and name it. So a trigger happens, a charge happens, a situation happens. It's like, oh, name it. Like, oh, that was my judger, that was my prover, my fight to be right, my know-it-all, right? There's just ways you invite it. And then look for like, well, okay, what could this be? Because that's what you'll find. You'll find what you want through that. And what could it be opens it up, and then choose one. But yeah, that's the one. Now there's much more elaborate steps, but that's just the beginning. See the door. Conductors. And so this is a symphony, right? A symphony, conductors. We called out as like conductors facilitate, right? They move it. They're aware every 15 minutes. They're aware of what's being played, right? And they're in 15-minute chunks of moving it along. Now we have conductors in training, right? This group is conductors in training and conductors. And we have the audience, right? Now we can even be in the group and be all three of them, one of them, none of them. It's all, what matters is what you are in the moment. In the moment, the now. It is all we have. It's what connects us together is the moment, of time of now. There will never be another one of it, like it, or it, and there will be another one. Maybe, like, at some point, who knows? That's a tangent. And what is it that happens to us in the now? If we all share the present moment, well, it was great work of being aware of our presence. We all share the present moment. We have the now, which means we've got a future forward, a past in the backwards, going backwards. Well, what's here now is that we have a choice of our charge. It's a feeling. Number two is like in the moment of now, it's what we feel something, and the feelings change. Our stories change as our feelings change. Our feelings and our stories have become entangled into automatics. They have us create the world a certain way and we don't question it. The awareness has us see our blind spots, pause them, and see it for what it is. When we see it for what it is, mind's like, oh, there's my fight to be right. I welcome him. Hello. It's like excited to see you again. And it's like, I don't like that. So I'm going to go the other way. I'm not going to fight to be right. It's like, you're right. That's also another release. As I say, you're right. Oh, do I resist saying to someone else, you're right? Well, that's the biggest growth for me. Now it becomes a degree. Like, to as much resistance I have to it, I can keep avoiding the resistance, or I can throw it and go through the resistance, and the benefit is just as big as the resistance. So that's when we see what it is. We see what the resistance is. Does it cause a wobble? If our center is calm, if our center is love, if our center is authenticity, that it's the same word, the same feeling, just in different contexts. So that is a summary of today's sessions. Thank you all. Enjoyed it. Have a great day.